Hey folks, we're talking about falls in South Carolina nursing home and assisted living facilities. We're going to talk about how often they occur, why they occur, what facilities can do to prevent them, and what I can do to help if a resident falls and sustains a serious injury. So, first, how often do falls occur in nursing homes? Nationwide, studies show about half of all nursing home residents fall in any given year. Sadly, about 10% of these falls result in severe injuries like head trauma or broken bones. Even worse, some of these are so severe they eventually lead to the resident's wrongful death. So let's talk about what causes falls from neglect and abuse in South Carolina nursing homes. The chief cause is unsafe conditions. These are easily preventable situations like wet or cluttered floors, unstable furniture, or unlit areas. And then there's medication changes. Staff's got to closely observe residents when current medications are altered or new medications are prescribed. Those changes can cause balance problems or awareness problems that enhance the risk for falls. Another factor is lack of safety equipment. This includes bed alarms, bed rails, grab bars in hallways, bedrooms, and bathrooms. Another factor is the staff's failure to address changes in a resident's condition. Staff has got to closely monitor every resident for changes in mental status, mobility, eyesight, and overall health, because all those things can cause or contribute to enhanced risk of falls. And then there's lack of supervision or help. If staff isn't paying attention or they ignore a resident's call for help, a resident can fall trying to get out of bed or walking without help. So let's talk about how nursing homes can prevent falls. The first thing the fall prevention plan should implement is a risk screening tool to assess each resident's specific needs. It should also provide staff training to make sure all areas of the facility are well lit, tripping hazards are removed, spills are immediately cleaned up, and before they're cleaned up, residents are immediately warned of the spill. All rooms, hallways, and any areas of the facility are properly installed with safety equipment. And that's especially going to be true in resident rooms because that equipment may need to be tailored to each resident's specific needs. Another thing that staff should be trained on is encouraging residents to rely on help and supervision and overall to just move around the facility as safely as possible. Another thing the program should include is for staff to regularly check resident vision and also review their medications because those items can also enhance the risk for a fall. Keeping track of them is going to help the facility keep those residents safe. Now let's talk about what an attorney can do if a resident falls from neglect or abuse in a South Carolina nursing home or assisted living facility. The first thing you need to know is these cases are extremely complex. Legally, they're treated the same way as a medical malpractice case. You're going to need an expert to win your case. The next thing you need to know is facilities and their insurance companies fight these cases tooth and nail. If you go it alone, you're going to be surrounded by professionals like facility administrators, insurance company representatives, and experienced defense attorneys, all of whom are directing their efforts against you and your family to deny your claim and prevent a fair settlement. So, let me tell you what I can do in a very small nutshell. For more information, I've got a more detailed video on how these cases work. But here's what I do. The first thing I do is investigate the facility's conduct. I learn from you and, if possible, the resident how the fall occurred. I analyze records from the facility and, if one is undertaken, the records from the state long-term health care ombudsman investigation. Most importantly, I find the right expert to help us assess the facility's legal fault called liability. I also gather evidence, most importantly, the medical records and bills related to the injury or death. In addition to that, I begin to develop the evidence of the impact of the injuries on the resident, or if the resident sadly passes away, the impact on the family members involved in the wrongful death case. Most importantly, I figure out how to best and most effectively present that evidence to get a solid settlement. Then I prepare the lawsuit that we're going to have to file to get a fair settlement in your case. I manage it, I strategize it, and I guide you through it. So the question always becomes, why is this all worth it? It's worth it because in the end, you're getting justice for your elderly loved one, and you're holding a nursing home accountable for failing its one job to keep that elderly loved one you entrusted to them safe. Folks, if you've got an elderly loved one who suffered a fall in a South Carolina nursing home and you suspect abuse or neglect, you don't have to go it alone. Call me and I'll answer your questions and guide you through it. I thank you for thinking about this with me, and I hope I see you soon.